Shut up and sit down.
Hey, and welcome to the Freja MMA podcast, where it doesn't matter if you're a casual fan or a championship fighter. Join us in our discussion about the beautiful sport, which is mixed martial arts. Hey, and welcome to a new episode of the Freja MMA podcast. Today, we're talking with Thomas Narmo, who is a Norwegian mixed martial arts heavyweight, who is also known as the Last Viking. At the moment, he's signed with KSW, but unfortunately, he got injured and couldn't fight in his debut. We'll speak a bit about that during the show, as well as how he got there and his journey in MMA. He's quite an interesting guy. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's quite a smart guy as well. So anyone that's learning about the business, listen up. So without further ado, here is my conversation with Thomas Narmo. Hey Thomas, how are you doing?
Hi mate, all good, thanks. It's sunny weather today, so not really much to complain about. How are you?
Oh, you're lucky. It's a bit of stormy weather here, shall I say. But yeah, I'm doing good. First of all, welcome back to the Freja MMA podcast.
Well, thank you. It's been a while. It must have been like a year now since the last time.
Yeah, almost a year. We had a bit of complications booking this. We threw around a few dates, but we're here now.
Yeah, life happens sometimes, but we're here, and that's the most important thing.
First of all, how are you feeling, Narmo?
It's been a roller coaster the past year, really. To be honest, it's been some really dark days. As you know, I have a son. He's turning 2 years old in May. And last year really took a tear on the relationship with his mother, so we split up and stuff like that, and also there were no fights. I lost a fight with Anton, who was supposed to be in March last year, and then we got it rescheduled, got injured, wasn't able to fight in the summer, and everything was like just back and forth all the time. Didn't really know anything. Got a fight, went to go there, got a last minute replacement. Shit, I got a fight, or I wouldn't say a fight, it lasted for a couple of seconds, but at least it was something, but and then 2021 starting to look really bright. So I mean, it's been some dark days, but starting to look bright now. So really, really thankful for that. So yeah, but I guess it's been, say, at least with the fighting, for everyone that's involved with the fighting, it's been a rough year now. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, I think you're the first guest that has been vaccinated as well. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Or did I sell my soul to the devil, or did I? I don't know yet. Let's see. But
we'll see.
So far, so good. Not changed. Say I'm not yellow or green or anything yet. So
you still have all your limbs, right?
Most of them. But maybe I got some extra.
Yeah. So
some extra toes and stuff.
Before we get into the nitty-gritty of things, if you can just introduce yourself for the people that might not know who you are.
Yeah, so my name is Thomas Narmo. I'm a heavyweight MMA fighter from Norway. Used to play professional hockey or ice hockey. Played in Finland, played in Norway, national team in Norway, stuff like that. Got an injury in my back. Needed to do rehab training for a couple of years, and really just lost the motivation for playing hockey. And after a while, I found martial arts, and yeah, that's how we ended up here today, I guess. So it's a short you call it short brief of who I am.
Would you say that it's a quite common change between hockey players and MMA players? I heard that a lot of them are kind of going back and forth between the two.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like, but it's like uh both are professional. Like it's sports, you know. It's like one thing is not a sport, and MMA is not fighting. It's still a sport, you know, and it's the uh, athletic abilities you gain as a professional athlete, and the mindset of competing and stuff like that. That's the same, I think, whatever sports you do, mostly, you know, as long as you're developing your athletic abilities. And of course, you might have to change something, you know, from a sport to another. But the transition for me has been really good. Actually, my body feels way better doing MMA than doing hockey. So that's so it might sound a bit crazy, but it's hockey can be really rough on your body, especially like knees and back and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So for me, I think it's been a transition for the better, at least. Tried to go back and play a bit of hockey, but I think I lasted for like 10-15 minutes, and it was like pain all over again. And I just figured like this is not going to happen, not at the same level. And if I can't be at the top, there's really just a waste of time. So
Yeah.
I figured I'll pursue the MMA route and try to make it to the top here.
Yeah, tell me about it. I mean, I would much prefer a comfy set of MMA gloves rather than the ice skates. I mean, I tried having those on for an hour and my feet are killing me.
Yeah, and also it's like knife blades on your foot. You know, dangerous stuff can happen there. So MMA is probably safer than hockey as well.
So we hear the stories about the rough times of being a hockey player. Was your first
Yeah,
thrown punch in a MMA gym, or was it on the ice?
that was on the ice for sure. I was probably like 10 years old. So, but I guess that no, it's adrenaline and heat of the moment. You know, stuff happens. It's I might have been a bit of a hothead as well. You know, it'd be like really easy to get me into a fight when I played hockey. So it's about it's a part of the game. You know, it's like you're stepping up for your team and your teammates get the team going. So yeah.
So from there, I mean, I guess in Norway it's a bit of a difficult one with mixed martial arts because of the legality of it and everything. But how did you start becoming where you are now, shall I say?
Just training, really, networking, bit of luck and training. It's luckily for me, I've met a couple of really nice guys that has wanted to help me out in my career, and both inside Norway and some outside Norway. But uh, uh, funny thing is that the guy who's probably helped me the most with my MMA career, he's not even involved in any martial arts. He used to do boxing when he was young,
Mm-hmm.
but that has been like a real change for me, and like gain a good network around the world, not just in Scandinavia or Europe or whatever, but really around the world, which has helped me a lot. Since of course MMA it's not legal here, so you need to find other ways to uh, both market yourself, which is today it's really important in the sport. You need to get some attention to get your career progressing forward. So uh, I guess in a couple of years it will be better in Norway as well. It's starting to get some recognition, but still a long way to go.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I can understand how a someone that was in boxing before can help with this MMA journey because they've learned the showbiz of boxing from when that
Mm,
kind of started up and everything, and now mixed martial arts is kind of coming into that boxing realm of the show and the business side.
yeah. That's true, and it's like you really need someone that understands marketing in like the times we are now with the sport. Marketing is probably worth more than your skills, you know. So it's kind of crazy, but that's just how it is. You can see those YouTube guys going on making millions, gonna fight. That's boxing, but still.
Hmm.
So it's a crazy world.
I mean, in the MMA community, you will meet, these fighters that will jump into a cage and fight someone for, 100 euros and stuff like that. So I guess the managing side of things is the kind of self-worth of fighters.
Yeah, of course, but in Norway, I think it's different, you know, because MMA is not legal here. You have to travel just to get a fight,
Mhm.
stuff like that. In amateur, you'll have to pay for everything. Most amateurs in Norway, they fight in the UK, so they have to fly over, pay their own tickets, pay their coach ticket, pay the hotel, everything. And I don't think we do it for money here in Norway. You know, I don't really like. Honestly, I think I'll say 99% of the Norwegians that do MMA, they don't really care about the money. They just like to compete, or they like to fight. So, which I think it's a good thing, like, because then you really know that this is what you want to do. You know, it's like no one forcing you to fight because your family needs food on the table or
Mhm.
whatever, but this is something you really want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing a lot of stories from the Scandinavian fighters that have a day job as well as being a professional mixed martial artist. It's
Yeah,
kind of
so do
crazy.
so do I.
Mm.
So do I. So it's uh, ups and downs, of course. Uh, if you would be able to do uh, 2 trainings a day, your development might come faster. It depends, you know, because the more you train, it's also a bigger risk of an injury. So you need to be smart, and like whatever way you do it. For me, I don't work full time. Obviously, I started to work when COVID happened. I figured I'll go back to work because it was all the insecurity about when to fight
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But now I really enjoy my job, so I figure I'll just stay like part time to work and just enjoy life a bit. So,
So where would we find the Last Viking working during the day?
at the psych ward in one of the biggest hospitals in Norway.
Uh,
It's a crazy job, you know. It's you never know what's gonna happen. Like one day can be quiet, and the next day someone will try to kill you. So it's
Well, I'm
uh,
pretty sure there's no heavyweights over there.
oh, there is a lot of big dudes in there. So, it's but you know, I like the job. It's challenging in like different ways. You know, how you communicate and speak with people, to in like all different so to say aspects of their uh, mental state. It's like some like at one moment they can be really happy, next moment you know you never know what's going to happen. So you need to be able to communicate with them in a way that is going to keep them leveled, so
Mm,
shit doesn't go down.
yeah. Well,
And
I,
yeah,
I can see how that you can fit into that role, especially with your stature and background, shall I say?
uh, to be fair, it's like it's a double-edged sword. You know, like I'll say 80% they like respect you right away and they just listen to what you got to say. But the other 20%, they are going to want to kill you like from the first moment they see you because they see you as a challenge. So it's yeah,
It's a weird one.
yeah, but it's interesting. You know, it's like you get to learn like how the mind works and how it can really play games with you. And you think you're like seeing like tragedy like in the world. It's like obviously for us living in Europe, it's kind of different if you compare to like other parts of the world. But you see like really sick people is like this is like their mental health is so bad, and you wouldn't even believe, like nobody listening would ever believe the stories if I told what happens at work. It'd be like, no, this is like from a movie, it's not real. But it's sad to see like how bad stuff can really get, and like how you can be like really depressed or whatever, or in psychosis and stuff like that. So I'm just glad I'm healthy for now.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
it sounds like you can use that as a type of mental training as well, because you do have to stay so sharp yourself.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've noticed a big difference after I started working there. It's like, for example, uh, going into to sparring or something. I'll travel around the world to find heavy guys to train with. So it's like always going to be some new people. People are going to be better than you, stuff like that, and it can be stressful. It's someone trying to take your head off, but uh, I find it like it's more comfortable than working, because at work, like that in training you're not gonna die, but at work, like one of the patients, they might try to they might stab you in the back, and it's game over. So it's kind of comforting to going in to do MMA. It's like feels way safer than working.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk a bit about MMA.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're 4-0 right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, that'd be correct.
Okay, so could you just go through a bit for the fans out there about how difficult it is to be a mixed martial arts heavyweight and get fights?
It's unless you're a coach, manager, or an actual heavyweight, you probably wouldn't know how bad it is, because obviously there's not a lot of people like at the size of an heavyweight. Like the more average guy would be more like a welterweight or a lightweight maybe. So just there you've eliminated most of the people in the world. And also a big issue is that you need someone to train with at the same weight. So you wouldn't like your best option would be to fight your teammate, but that wouldn't be a good option always, since you're training together every day. And just trying to get a fight, it's like people are like, they want to uh, this and that and back and forward all the time. And when you're a big guy, also injuries happen all the time. Um, uh, it's difficult to guarantee that you get a fight, even though it's like booked. And if someone falls out of a heavyweight bout, it's not like you just call whoever and someone will show up. It's different in the lower weight classes, because you'll always have someone at that weight training and will have the stamina at least to go 3 rounds. Because if you're a heavyweight and you're not preparing to fight, you probably won't have the gas tank to do more than a round. So
Yeah,
it's really frustrating to be a heavyweight, especially here in Europe. I guess it's unless you're in the big promotions, things are easier, obviously, because there's different purse than at the small local shows. So they'll always find someone who's ready to go. It's their job. So
yeah. I mean, there is also the big risk at heavyweight, because any punch in heavyweight can, change your career forever, shall I say?
yeah, that's also a factor. I didn't think too much about it, but or I try not to think too much about it, because then it'll be like, I don't know if I want to fight this guy. No, let's just try to ignore the fact that one punch can end your career, or at least end the fight, and just try to like be ready all the time, and whatever happens.
Well, I wouldn't say it's luck that you are 4-0 and kind of breezed through your opponents so far.
Yeah, but that's how it is, when guys pull out all the time and stuff like that. It's like been really unlucky. I think it's just one guy that I've fought that was supposed to be my original opponent. The rest of them has been like last minute changes, so it's difficult.
So, as a heavyweight, because people can probably only see from UFC and things like that a lot of heavyweights do need to cut down to get to that heavyweight limit. Are you a similar fighter that needs to do that?
Depends on how much pizza and ice cream I have.
Depends on after Christmas or before Christmas.
I'm having a really hard time to get over 120 kilos when I'm training martial arts. It's I'm probably walking around like 113, 114 most of the time. So I'll say I'm probably like one of the smaller heavyweights, I guess, at least in weight.
Mm.
But I'm trying to like gain a bit of good weight, but it takes time also, and I'm not really into like lifting weights and stuff. I try to like it, but it's like it's progressing, but it's not my favorite thing to do. So, but I'll try to make up for it with the good stamina, which I think it's underrated in heavyweight because you always talk about the knockout power and stuff like that, but it doesn't really matter if you only have knockout power for 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the big question with the likes of Francis Ngannou and Derek Lewis. I mean, what would happen if they fight a heavyweight wrestler that can go 3 rounds in a kind of pressure scenario?
Yeah, it's still heavyweight, so it's like it's one punch and it's good night. But it's like heavyweight is a different sport, so to say. You know, it's like it's so hard to predict what can happen because obviously you'll have a guy that's favorite and a guy who is the underdog, but it's one punch and yeah.
So have you been 3 rounds in your professional career?
No, I never went out of the first.
Oh wow.
So and I'm planning to stay like that for as long as possible because it's when you think about fighting a guy at 120 kilos for 15 minutes, it's getting exhausted just by thinking about it. So if anyone that fights me in the future sees this, let's just make an agreement to stay within the first round.
Because you seem like the kind of guy that wants to be tested. I mean, I don't know if any of the viewers saw your last fight, but speaking of the whole like one punch and it could be over, that's exactly what happened on your behalf. I mean,
yeah,
you seem like the kind of guy that does want a test now and again to see like how far you can take it.
Of course, that's why I wanted to do MMA in the first. You know, I wanted to challenge myself, and like when I like knew that I couldn't be one of the best hockey players in the world, I wanted to test myself and be one of the best martial artists in the world. So that's what I'm working towards. And if I get there, I don't know, but I feel like I'm progressing every day on the journey of training, and because I haven't been in this game more than around 3.5 years, you know, so it's not a lot of time, and compared to others, but that's where the athletic abilities will for now cover a lot of the say missing links between proper technique and stuff like that. I think I can make up for it with the athleticism and competitiveness I've learned since I was a kid. So I want to be tested, and that's why when everyone sees this, everyone that knows it knows that my fight in KSW is going to be rescheduled. But I asked for that guy, and people might say I'm crazy, but that's the guy I want to fight because I believe that he's better than the guy that holds the belt in the division, and I want to fight him to see am I at that level.
Let's talk a bit about KSW. So when did you start getting contacted by them?
It was actually before my last fight in November, the one that ended quite quick. because the guy I was supposed to fight beat a former KSW guy, and they say if you beat this guy, we'll sign you right away. And I don't know what happened, but I got a different opponent in the last minute. So, but still, there was some interest there, and I say like, I don't care who I fight, but I want to fight this guy. If there's any chance, I'll fight this guy because I really want to. I don't care. Like, it's probably not going to happen, but I'm available if his team accepts the fight and you guys want to see this fight happen. I'll take it. So they offered me a contract for multiple fights, and yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great. And when you think about KSW, you do think of the land of the giants and things like that. They got some big guys there.
Oh, for sure, they got some big guys over there. That's I think it's got a bit of a bad reputation in Eastern Europe with the martial arts in general. But I've been to Poland training, met a lot of the guys. They're really nice guys. They really know their stuff. The coaches are really good. A lot of wrestlers like working in the gyms there. So for me, I'm definitely going back to Poland to train, and they have had a couple of UFC champions now. Still have one.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's I think it's like the reputation of the Polish organizations are probably not the best, but the fighters coming out of there are really talented. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, you could just see that on the Polish talent that's in the big leagues like the UFC and yeah.
Yeah, and they're so tough. That's the worst thing, they'll keep coming, whatever, like you could throw the kitchen sink at them and they'll still keep coming. It's frustrating.
Yeah, it's like, are they tough or are they crazy? We don't really know.
No, it's true. Could be the vodka.
Yeah, could be. So speaking a bit about crazy, maybe not many people don't know this, but the night that you was in the arena at KSW, there was a big fallout of a big heavyweight main event, and you was almost ready to jump in there in what, 24 hours notice?
No, 5 hours notice.
5 hours notice.
I said I wanted to do it, but the thing is that I didn't. Like, I tried to cover up because my ribs were already broken when I was there at the event.
Oh, wow.
But I wanted to fight so bad, and I tried to I asked for a pair of gloves. Went like backstage for myself. I was there alone, I was just going there for the face up for my original fight, and so I had no coaches, no anything, and I still wanted the fight, And my team, they sort of talked me out of it because obviously I had 2 broken ribs. I tried to warm up. I couldn't throw a punch with my right hand, not anything. I said like, this is just stupid. Say no. So that's what we ended up doing. But I was ready to go. The funny thing is that I didn't even know that I just had the feeling that something was going to happen with one of the heavyweight. It was 2 heavyweight bouts at the evening. And I brought my gum shield and my groin protection in the bag I brought over to the arena, so I already had it there.
Wow.
So I really wanted to fight, but sometimes you need to be smart and realize that to fight with 2 broken ribs is probably not the best options going against a 5-time world's strongest man. You can only imagine. Say he got a body lock on me or something and he starts to apply pressure, I'll probably die.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just the broken ribs, like you said. You wasn't with your team. You wasn't ready for it. You didn't have any fight training. It's just, it's crazy.
Yeah, but it's a crazy world we live in, and you got to take some chances.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. So let's talk a bit about the injury. How exactly did this happen?
I was in the turtle position, and it was kind of an accident, but I got a knee right into my lower rib section, and I heard it cracked. So I was like, oh shit! I knew something was bad, and it was broken. And when I touch my ribs now, it's like the bones are like popping out, so it's kind of weird,
Ouch.
But it's a part of the game. Like, broken ribs can happen to anyone. So
Yeah.
Just rest up and be ready for the next challenge. And as you know, but we're not going to speak too much about it. A lot of crazy stuff are happening now, so yeah.
Yeah. So
I'll
keep
I'll,
your
I'll
eyes
be I'll
peeled.
be I'll be ready. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of spoke to you a bit before about I did have a rib injury before. I didn't get a
Mm.
knee to the ribs or anything. It was actually me just being stupid while skiing. But
Yeah.
I know how bad broken ribs can feel.
Yeah, it's and one of them are it's like complete broken off, so it's
Oh
like loose,
Jesus!
or at least it was. They kind of patched me up with some bandage and stuff like that, so hopefully it's like grown back now. But with the ribs, it's not really much you can do. So
No, they can't really go in there
let's,
and glue it.
no, so let's just hope that it's at least. I don't care if it's like dislocated when it grow, like, or whatever it's called when it's grown back. At least just the important thing is that it's attached with the rib case.
Mhm.
That's what I care about.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that that you had injured yourself so early and yet still went through with the stare down and didn't show anything to anyone. That's crazy to think of.
I want to fight so bad, and I was crying backstage because I knew I wasn't able to fight that night, and I wanted to so bad. So it was frustrating.
Yeah,
So it's that's life, you know. It's I'm just glad I have a team around me that really cares about me and don't think too much about the money, because it was really crazy money I was offered to do that fight. And as I told him, I don't care about the money. I have a daytime job. Like, my life will still go on Monday. If I fight or not, I'll still be able to pay my mortgage and have an okay life. So it's not about the money. So
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah,
that's crazy. I mean, the last time we spoke, it was during our little Corona special edition of the Freja MMA podcast. And we spoke a lot
yeah,
about mentalities with this whole thing. I mean, there was a
yeah,
fight that fell out at that time as well. Uh,
yeah.
we spoke a bit about your job, maybe helping a bit with that as well. But how has your mentality
Mm.
been with wanting to fight and not exactly being able to yet?
It it's starting to get to a boiling point. I think it's like I want to fight so bad, and it drives me more in training now. It's like I'm more hungry, which is a good thing. Like I'm more focused on like the small details, doing stuff right with training, everything. So like after all that I've been through like the last year, now I think it's turned out for the better, because it's like just the development I've made like for myself with my skills and mentality, everything. It's like it's a different person now. Like the person 1 year ago wouldn't recognize this guy. So I feel really confident about going in there against anyone at the moment.
And like you're saying, with it coming to a boiling point, there is going to be that one moment where you're allowed to express it, and I'm sure it will be very
It's
explosive
gonna
when you're in
be
that.
it's gonna be expressed through this one.
Yep, definitely. I can see that happening. I mean, just look at your last fight.
Yeah, it
Yeah, so
was a clean a clean hit. So I mean, that's just how it is. Like in most weight classes, if it's a clean hit and it's over.
you looked a bit disappointed in that fight. Would you say that you was? Would you say that you wanted a few more?
I was really disappointed, not because the fight ended the way it did, because like you can only fight the guy that's in front of you when you get in the cage, you know. It's and but the thing is that what I was most disappointed about was that I've been speaking to the guys in the KSW, and they told me if you beat that guy who I was supposed to fight, we'll be interested. And that guy didn't show up, so I had to fight someone else.
Mm.
That was like my biggest disappointment, because I felt like, okay, this is my time, you know. It's like my time to get to compete against top level athletes. Because obviously, there's a lot of ex UFC fighters in the KSW. There's talent coming up, so it was a lot of mixed emotions, so to say, for that fight. But things turn out for the better anyway, so I'm just thankful for that.
Mm. Also, are you still a hockey fan? Are you still watching games?
I watch a bit. Of course, we have Zuccarello from Norway. It's always fun to watch Norwegian doing so well at the highest level. So I watch a little bit, but and finally my team is doing better than they've done for long before I started watching hockey. So, and my team is the Maple Leafs, Toronto. So
Mm-hmm. But because I was going to discuss a bit, I mean, MMA during the Corona time, it was a bit of a hotbed because it was the only sport that was, starting to come up and starting to actually put on shows again. Is hockey
yeah,
also doing that now?
yeah. Most leagues, not the Norwegian one, it got cancelled, but I know Sweden is still going. Uh, NHL is still going on. So I think most leagues still plays. So, but of course, it's going to be easier to regulate MMA than in hockey. There's 25 guys plus the coaches,
Mm-hmm.
etc. In fighting, it's one guy and 2 3 coaches.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
going to be that's that's probably why fighting was still going on, because it's so much easier to have like full control of the contamination and environment to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that this crazy year or year and a half or whatever it is or is going to be has helped MMA in some way? I mean, I'm sure it's got more eyes on it now than ever before.
It's really hard to tell because like I've been lucky that I've been able to train, but I don't know how the situation is for everyone. Has it been like optimal training? Has it been any training at all? Depends on what country you live in. So I guess some athletes have made progress, but others they're probably taking a few steps back. So
Mm.
depend like of course the guys in the top organization is different because they'll find ways to train, they'll find ways to compete, but for the grassroots and the up and coming fighters, the amateurs, stuff like that. What this year has done to them,
Mm.
we don't know before we're back to fighting, really.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's been the promotions like Cage Warriors and the UFC that's going as good as they can. There was Fight Club Rush in Sweden and Superior Challenge that was able to put on some
Yeah,
shows during this time. So that's
yeah,
a good sign at least.
yeah, but it's mostly professional fights,
Mm-hmm.
So, and of course, it's the pros that we talk about, but the amateurs are the guys for tomorrow, and if they can't develop, then what's going to happen with the sport?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the IMF are starting to put the wheels back into turning for the European Championships.
Yeah, the IMF is going this year. I've seen it, so that's at least a good sign. But how is the level going to be? Has the guys been training
Mm-hmm.
properly?
Yeah,
That's my concern.
yeah.
Are we going to see some like some countries that have had fewer restrictions? They are going to do well against others that haven't been able to train, but they really want to compete
Mm-hmm.
for their career. But how is it going to turn out? Are we going to see a lot of brutal knockouts, stuff like that, which can be really bad for your career?
Yeah.
The consequences of this, we won't know before everything is back to normal, and that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, the politics does get a bit in the way. I mean, in the UK,
Mm.
for example, you can train if you're an elite athlete, but that wouldn't be for the amateurs in IMAF and things like that.
No, exactly, and it's really sad that it's the politics that's holding us back, because I think sports in general is so important for people to keep their sanity. You know, it's like for or just go to the gym and work out and just clear your mind, like or something. And it's really sad to see how most governments has handled this situation, because it's going to like the reflection is going to be that more people are going to be unhealthy. Athlete development in kids, youth sports is going down. The recruitment will probably go down, and that's not a good sign. Then we're taking a few steps backwards.
Definitely. And as we spoke about before, the mental game of kind of going and getting your exercise through sport is very important.
Yeah, it is. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens. You know, at least the COVID vaccine is here. I'm good to go, so I can probably travel wherever I want now. And since I work in the health department, I guess I can. I don't have any restrictions when I'm going back or going into any country, because my work is in health. So as long as I can document it, it should be good wherever I go.
Speaking of someone that's definitely on both ends, that your career is in health and then you're also a professional MMA fighter that's hurting people, it's kind of funny to look at it like that.
Yeah, I'm joking about it at work all the time. It's like when I get too much head trauma, you'll have me as one of the patients in here. But nah, it's a bit of a contrast. But the most important thing for me and for everyone is that whatever you're doing, just do it 100% and be happy with what you're doing. If not, you need to change something.
Definitely. I mean, it's all about balance, right?
For sure.
So also speaking a bit about this politics and especially sports politics, you might be a bit more in the know about this than me, but Norway is going to be having its first bare knuckle boxing event. I'm kind of feeling it's a bit strange that a bare knuckle boxing event is allowed, but a mixed martial arts event is not.
I've been one of the skeptics as well. They offered me a fight, or they didn't offer a concrete fight, but they asked if I was interested, and I said no, because I thought this is not going to happen, so it will just be a waste of time. But as far as I can tell, the rules and the paperwork, everything, they got it all sorted out, which is crazy. But I actually think that the only thing that's going to stop this from happening is that the government won't allow big crowds, because it's financed mostly through ticket sales. And I think that is going to be the tip of the scale if this is happening or not, because I think they got all the paperwork set, because they were booked in some really big names like Shannon Ridge and stuff like that, which is a legend in martial arts. He's probably not a cheap guy to get on the show.
Yeah, definitely.
And if they've signed him for a contract, they would be really stupid to not have all their shit together. You know. So I think this is going to happen if not COVID stops it.
So what? It's just the paperwork is through boxing instead of any other kind of
yeah, because what I think is that there's nothing in the rules, like the government rules that's regulating this, about saying anything about glove size, and it is normal boxing rules, except the fact that you don't wear gloves. And as long as it doesn't say anything about there's no definition of what size the gloves need to be or whatever, it's probably legal. That's what I can say.
Yes, it's very strange. Very strange.
Yeah.
So you're on the mend right now. I know it's a bit hard to say with the corona and the healing up and everything, but how do you see the rest of your year going for you?
Hopefully before the summer starts, I'll be 5-0, or at least in the summer. I'll be fighting latest in July. That's what I can say. From what I know, July will be the latest. I'll be back in training. I don't know when this is going to be released, but from this day, 2.5, 3 weeks, I'll hopefully be back in full training, like full contact training.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in shape for a year now. So I don't think like this has just been a excuse to rest a bit for me. I feel like my conditioning is still good. I'll probably just need, say, 3 weeks, and I'll be back to where I was, and I'll be ready to go. So if they call me, if it's the end of May and my ribs have healed and I've been able to train for a couple of weeks, I'll say yes to a fight, you know. So
Well, that sounds exciting anyway.
but I was hoping, like, when January came this year, I was hoping I'll get 4 fights this year, and now this injury has been a bit of a setback, so let's say I'll settle for 3 fights this year.
That's a lot still especially for a heavyweight.
No, but if it's only 7 to 10 seconds, it's...
Yeah, true.
It's not that bad.
So let's keep it that way, right?
Yeah, as I said, like every opponent needs to agree that we don't go out of the first.
Maybe you should start your own MMA promotion with just 1 round.
Yeah, it won't be sanctioned though, so it'd be custom rules. But yeah, that'd be something. Maybe when it's legalized in Norway and I retire from MMA, maybe I'll start a promotion just for fun.
Yep, the new Dana White in Norway.
Nah, no. To be fair, I think he's an asshole.
Sorry, Dana, if you're watching.
I would never. I won't say never, but I would never be interested in a multi-fight contract in the UFC. If they offered me 1 fight, I'd take it, but I wouldn't be interested in fighting there. That's just the way I see it. That's how I see the world.
I also I do my research and I dissect people's Instagrams and social medias and things like that. So
Yeah.
could you just talk a bit about your sponsor with you was sponsored with Venom, and then
That's
they
right.
started with the UFC, and then you kind of opted out. Can you speak a bit about that?
It's as easy as this. I don't want to represent something that's not a good thing for the people competing. And I think the same as the Reebok deal is the same with this as with Reebok. It's they take away so much potential money unless you're a top fighter in the organization. It's the up and coming guys that just got into the organization that needs money. Like they need like tons of more money than the guys at the top. Obviously they're not as marketable as, for example, Khabib or McGregor or whatever, but they got it all sorted out. They got a good life outside of fighting. The guys that are just signed with the UFC or whatever, they probably still live in their mother's basement. You know, they're just trying to make it. And when you take away the ability of, for example, private sponsoring, which is going to play a huge factor in, because the entry level salary in the UFC is shit. That's my opinion. It's like it's really bad. And when you also then take away the ability for them to put on private sponsors that be interested in paying to get on TV, to get on, because not only because they see like the marketing value of putting the logo on a fighter in a good organization, but because they also want to help. They see like the amounts of hours of training the athletes put into this, and they feel like these companies they want to help, you know, and now they don't get the ability to help out the up and coming fighters, and I just don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, I'm sure that, say that you're in an organization that allows sponsors for whatever you want. I'm sure going to the UFC, the money won't really kind of go up to the same amount as you could earn elsewhere.
No, it's not. And also, I think the kits that they're handing out to the fighters, so it's like so boring, so plain. It's like nothing personal that tells something about the fighter's personality.
Mm-hmm.
Like back in the days, you had all these like crazy t-shirts the UFC fighters were wearing from different companies, saying stay like with some statement or whatever that you felt like, okay, this is this guy's personality. You know, it's like Tito Ortiz with the punishment and stuff like that. You know, it's like, but now it's like everyone has the same uniform, and of course you're in the same organization. I can see like their point of view from it, but I think it's taken away a lot from the fighters, and I just don't like it.
But it's like you can see that these two guys are in the UFC because they're in a UFC octagon. They're wearing UFC
Yeah.
gloves, so
Yeah, you already know what company they're representing. There's no need to take away their earnings as well.
exactly. So speaking of earnings, we usually give this time for our guests to thank any sponsors, family members, friends, training partners, anything like that. So now will be your time.
Yeah, so I'm wearing my newest sponsors hoodie today. It's called ProCost. They're a supplement and training company. I'll give a thanks to them, and Accelerator, logistic partner here in Norway, helping me out, and Gotham Garage, sorting me out with a lot of different stuff. Yrkesjakt, med Roar, tusen takk. Also, Shimon for helping me out with the training now during COVID, and also Frontline Muay Thai training there. I want to thank the guys over there, and Bruno Carvalho. Been working with him a bit now. Want to say thanks to him, and thanks to Uncle's MMA in Poland for having me over there training, and thanks to you for having me on the podcast. And that's about it for now. Let's see. Also, my management, JDC.
Great. That sounds great.
Yep.
Yeah, and thank you for coming on and talking with us, especially.
Yeah, thank you. It's always good to be able to speak with guys like you that want to display all kinds of athletes. You know, it's like not just the top level, but you give the grassroots, the up and coming fighters a chance to put their name out there and get some recognition. I think it's really important. So, I think you and a lot of other podcasters, it's like people are kind of underestimating the power you have, because it can make a big difference for some fighters to get their name, just to get their name out there. And also, it's a good platform for starters with media training and stuff like that. So if they ever get to the bigger leagues, they'll like have somehow know a bit of the feeling of how it is, which is really important.
Well,
so
thank
I
you
want
so
to
much.
thank you for that, and thank to everyone else that's running a podcast and trying to display up and coming fighters.
Yeah, I mean that's what my goal was from the start. I mean, I never really feel like it kind of goes through, but you saying it now is unbelievable. That, you know, I am just trying to push up the sport of MMA, and also the people that are watching to learn more about athletes like you and the dedication that you put into the sport, and even the amateurs. I mean, the amateurs are training as hard as the pros, but they aren't really getting the recognition.
Even harder.
Yeah,
if not even harder.
And they're not getting the recognition, so I feel like they deserve. So it's good it's good that you say it.
Yeah, well, I think it's so important, and you can't really say it enough.
Yeah.
So it's this is a good platform for the hardworking up and comers, as well as the established pros to speak to the audience about different stuff.
Yeah, I mean this life that everyone has dedicated it to. So
yeah, we're all in this together. It's just different situations for everyone. So
yep, definitely. Well, thank you for the kind words. I hope you heal up well and soon. I'm looking forward to seeing what you're going to be bringing up for this year.
Yeah, thanks. Hope it heal fast, and we'll be back anytime.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you.